a country with one of the 3 most spectacular waterfalls in the world. A country with high copper production. A habitat for diverse wildlife, Zambia. Since establishing diplomatic relations in 1990, Korea and Zambia have continuously expanded their field of cooperation. Ambassador Wylbur Simuusa used to work in the field of mining before taking his first step towards the political world and becoming an ambassador to Korea. Let's meet Zambia's second resident ambassador to Korea, Wylbur Simuusa, on Heart to Heart.
Today's guest is from Zambia, the country with the world's most beautiful waterfall. We welcome Zambian Ambassador to Korea, His Excellency Wylbur Simuusa. Welcome to Heart, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jenny. Hello. And hello, viewers. I'm happy to be on this program, the Heart to share as much as I can about Zambia, the home of the beautiful Victoria Falls. I'm the new ambassador from Zambia, Wylbur Simuusa. I'm only 2 months old. I'm happily married to Beatrice with 2 sons who are also here for Christmas, and we're having a very good time. Zambia is a very good place, and I'm sure as we go on through the interview, I'll be saying much, much more. But I'm so happy to be here.
Okay, I'm very happy to have you as our guest today, and I'm very excited to find out all about Zambia. You did briefly mention that your 2 sons are here. They're actually sitting over there. They have very big smiles on their faces. Thanks for coming. Okay, I'd like to begin by talking about your outfit. It's very colorful. Love the colors. Could you tell us about the shirt you're wearing?
Yes, this outfit, this is very Zambian.
Yes.
If you come to Zambia or any function where Zambian wants to show off their national identity in terms of the color, this is what you see Zambians wearing, especially the colors. These are the official Zambian colors: black, green, red, and orange, although it's copper, which represents our, copper. And all these mean different. So this is the typical Zambian outfit to show our Zambian identity, and I thought it would be good to wear it on this Arirang program.
Yes.
Just to show my Zambian identity and Zambian colors.
It's a beautiful shirt, I think.
Thank you.
So as you mentioned, you said that you're 2 months old. It's been roughly 2 months since you came to Korea. Now, this year's winter in Korea is particularly cold. I wonder how you're coping with the cold weather.
I tell you, Jenny, that's one of the, I think, I don't know if I can call it a cultural shock, one of the shocks I received coming to Korea. When I left Zambia, it was 32 degrees centigrade. And I was told Korea would be cold, but I think I underestimated how cold, because I arrived in end of October, early November, and it was still warm, so I thought I'll be okay. December hit, and I think it went down to -12 one time. I found myself totally unprepared. I didn't have the right clothes, so I had to rush to the clothes with some assistance, buy proper shoes, the long underwear, the coats and everything. So at least now I'm much able to cope, but it's still a challenge. I haven't been in such cold temperatures for a very, very long time.
I see.
Yes. So it's a challenge.
Yes. I mean, it's difficult for me as well. We've had cold winters in the past, but it's been quite a long time since it's last been this cold, and we've been getting much more snow this winter. So I hope that the harsh weather conditions or the cold hasn't affected your impression of Korea. I'd like to ask you about your impression of Korea so far. What do you think about Korea?
So far, I'll tell you, Jenny, when I first arrived in Korea, this is my first time in Korea, by the way. And when I first arrived at the airport, Incheon Airport, and coming here in the 2 months, the impression I get, obviously, is a country and the people that have done very well for themselves. Okay, very good development and still developing.
Yes.
And I before I came, I read the story of the miracle on the Hang River, and I actually saw it, and that also created my impression.
Oh.
So that is my first few impressions, and one of my jobs is to find out why, find out what is behind this good success. So it's a good impression, first impression that I've got. Yes.
Now, as we did mention, the falls, the Victoria Falls. Zambia is known for the world's most beautiful Victoria Falls. So please tell us about the pride of Zambia, the Victoria Falls.
The Victoria Falls, yes. You cannot, when you say Zambia, you say Victoria Falls. When you say Victoria Falls, you say Zambia. Indeed, it's the Victoria Falls, I think, if not largest, one of the largest falls, natural falls in the world. Beautiful sight. It's, in fact, of the 7 wonders, there are 7 wonders in the world. It is officially one of the 7 wonders in the world, which we are very happy about. It's just to give the viewers an idea of the dimension. You're talking about 1.7 kilometers long, water falling over 1.7 kilometers, over 100 meters, and you're talking about a million liters falling every second.
Every second?
Every second, a million liters. Now, what that means is big sound, smoke, and water. It's quite an experience. Rainbows, there's rainbows that form as water falling. It's quite a spectacular sight. And the only way you can experience this is to be there.
I know.
Because if you one explaining it, but when you're there, that's when you actually get to feel the actually power and magnificence of this natural wonder, which it is actually.
For all the superlatives that man has used in attempts to describe Victoria Falls, none are able to do this incredible natural wonder justice. You have to see it for yourself. It is a truly awe-inspiring experience. Victoria Falls has become a mecca for discerning adventure tourists. Peer into the abyss from Devil's Pool at the edge of the falls.
Devil's Pool.
Yes.
Very interesting name. Don't be frightened about the Devil's Pool, but I'll tell you what, it takes a lot of courage to go there. What it is, like you are saying, in Zambia, the rainy season goes from about November, December, and ends about March, April. Now, during that time, obviously, there's a lot of water, and the fall is full, plenty of water, and you cannot even attempt to, walk on it, on the fall, because you just go now. The rainy season, so it's dry from April to about November. So just about October, November is the driest, so the level is the lowest. And only in that short time are you able, because the water will go down low enough for you to actually walk on the edge of the fall. So you walk, and there's a small place where a pool is formed, right on the edge. So you can walk there and sit in this pool, right on the edge. Now, you have to be very brave to do that. We say it's for those who like adrenaline, adventures, extreme sport. But for the courageous ones, you can actually walk there, sit in the pool right on the edge, and you can be sitting over. And, it's quite an experience. Again, you have to do it to experience it. But I think it's the only place in the world I think you can do that on a fall so big. So it's something that would be very good to do. Then after that, obviously, you can actually go down and do some whitewater rafting for the extreme sport lovers and the bungee jumping. But the Devil's Pool is a must-do, and it's an experience I think you will not forget.
Just by listening to you telling us about the Devil's Pool, the thought of stepping into the Devil's Pool just gives me chills, but I'd love to check it out, actually. Have you been?
No, I haven't done. I haven't had the courage, but I think this time when I go back, I'll make sure I do it. It takes a lot of courage, but it's worth it, and I'm going to, going to do that. I'd
love to give it a shot as well. Now, we're going to briefly watch a video about Zambia, and then we'll come back to continue our talk. So let's take a look.
Okay, Jenny.
Career down the powerful rapids from Botoka Gorge in a white water raft. Bungee jump from the historic Victoria Falls Bridge, or fly over the falls on a flight of angels. Whatever activity you choose, you'll be left with a renewed appreciation for the sheer might of nature. Kafue National Park is amongst the biggest in Africa and it's home to more than 130 species of mammal and more than 400 bird species. Enjoy the wildlife from a different perspective on a boat cruise or a canoeing or walking safari for sheer density of game. South Luangwa National Park is second to none. It certainly lives up to its nickname as the Valley of the Leopard. The stunning Liuwa Plains play host to the world's second largest wildebeest migration and boast some of the most striking vistas you'll see anywhere in Africa. At Kasanka National Park, you can view the largest mammal migration in the world when each November, literally millions of fruit bats cover the skyline as the sun set.
We have fabric in front of us. Very colorful, beautiful, Zambian fabric. But of course, it is a Zambian fashion essential, I heard, called the Chitenge.
That's
yes,
right,
and it has many practical, I guess, purposes as well. I really love the colors. I've always kind of admired the colors and the patterns of African fabric. But so could you please tell us about the Chitenge and its various uses?
Yes, thank you, Jennifer, and viewers. I'm very happy actually to explain the Chitenge because it's a very essential part of the Zambian dress code and Zambian culture. In fact, the first thing I would say about dress code, because the Chitenge, at the start of the program, I talked about my Zambian color shirt.
Yes.
But on the normal day and the normal cloth, actually this kind of shirt is made from Chitenge without the national colors. So it's made from the Chitenge, and men actually wear this, the Chitenge, and the women as well. They make the tops and the dresses out of the Chitenge.
Yes.
So when you go to Zambia, you find most of the shirts and dresses made by the men and women actually made of Chitenge, and they would look like this, and the dresses. And now, for the practical use, actually the Chitenge is a very practical piece of furniture, or rather material.
Fabric,
I'll try. Mostly it's used by the women in Zambia.
I see.
It's mostly used by the women in Zambia, and it's got several uses. And I'll try and give, obviously, a few of them. Mostly, it's used by the women. In Zambia, in their tradition, the young girls, especially when they're coming of age, around 15, 16, because our young girls are taught by the older women to have respect and to show modesty. And the Chitenge is actually part of that training. So if I'll try and demonstrate briefly what they'll do. In fact, this is the Chitenge. They're of different colors.
Yes.
And I'm sure you'll see in the clip and many clips how this Chitenge is used, but very briefly. It's normally 2 meters, about 2 meters long, a few yards. And mostly the ladies, when you go to Zambia, you'll find that they'll wear them around their waist like that, and fold it like that.
Oh, you look great.
Oh, I look good. And what happens normally is they'll sit down, like if they're cooking, you can see you don't get dirty, and it's modesty. And normally when the ladies are greeting, they'll greet you, and it's a sign of respect.
Oh, I see.
And it's normally used even when you go to funerals. They come dressed with this. And even when you're visiting in-laws, because when you're visiting your in-laws, you're supposed to come with respect. So when I'm visiting, my wife or my daughters would come in Chitenges. I would be in my Chitenge shirt. They would sit like that, and they'll probably sit on the floor, and they'll be greeting. And that's part of the dress. For the other practical uses, obviously, the Chitenge, they use it to carry something on your head. Our ladies back home, sometimes when they've finished cooking, they want to take food to a neighbor's, or they want to carry water, they would put the Chitenge up like that, put it on the head, and put the utensil or whatever, and walk away with it. So very practical.
When we have the baby and we are going somewhere, or the baby, we want to put the baby to sleep, we will take the baby, put it in the bag. Sorry, I don't have a door. So that's the baby, and then we will put the baby on the back. Traditionally, we will then tie, put the baby there, and then also when we tie like this, then we are able to work with the baby on the back. and do our duties in the home. Even with the cooking, cleaning the house, bathing children, and all that. We can do it with the baby on the back. And when the baby sleeps, we can use that also as a sheet to cover the baby. As we put the baby in the bed, we can do that. Chitenge is also used for dresses. We can make dresses out of this fabric, different types of dresses, different types of skirts, different type of jackets. Okay, and when we go out, we can be wearing a chitenge dress or a top with a chitenge like this, or a skirt. We can also use it when we are going to functions. We use it also on our head. We'll get either a 2-yard piece or half like this one. I've cut it so that it suits my head, and then you can tie it onto your head. And when we are going for functions, we tie them differently depending on where you are going, what you are hoping to do, and then you just slant it like that so that you look nice and pretty. This does not need to match, okay? It can be different. And then when we go to functions, I will use my baby blanket here. This is no longer baby. When we go to functions, for example, we are marrying off a young girl or a wedding, and we want to show our joy, then we will dance. And do all the dancing. Every woman in Zambia has at least a piece or two of these in their home. In fact, most of us have over 20. Because for every function that we go to, wedding preparations, funeral preparations, happy times, sad times, casual times, formal times, modern times, all times, this Chitenge is a woman's best friend in Zambia. I thank you very much.
So you were sworn in as Zambian ambassador to Korea this past November, the 1st of November, is that right? And you are the second resident Zambian ambassador. But before this, you earned a master's in mining engineering and worked in that field for quite a long time. Is there a special reason why you entered the field of politics and diplomacy?
Yes, Jennifer, interesting. In fact, I came to to Korea 1st of November. I presented my credentials on the 20th of December, which was very good. As you say, and you're right to observe, by training, I'm a mining engineer. Now, what led me to politics was the fact that, I realized working as a mining engineer and working in the mines, Zambia is predominantly a mining country. In fact, mining, I can say, is the backbone of our country, Zambia. And copper is the main thing we mine. Zambia at one time was the largest copper producer in the world. We've dropped down to 4th. Right now in Africa, we're about the largest copper producer. So mining in Zambia is big, and I was in the copper mines.
Yes.
Now, there are a lot of other minerals. Emeralds, we've got the best emeralds in the world. We've got cobalt, some of the best cobalt reserves in the world. Zambia is quite blessed. Now, working as a mining engineer, I got to be exposed actually to how blessed we were as Zambia. It's so much resources. And I said to myself, it came to me strongly that I should contribute and see how I can make Zambia, develop, better than where it was. And I thought to myself, and when I looked around, I found that to make a difference, I wanted to make a difference and contribute to Zambia becoming, development.
Yes.
And the best way I thought I could do that was to join politics so that I could have more influence and influence the policies, influence the decisions, knowing, what we have and realizing what we have as a country. So that was a very big factor in influencing me to join politics. Apart from that, my father actually was a politician.
Oh, is that right?
So probably it runs in the blood, but he influenced me a lot as well in that regard. But primarily, it was to see how I could make a difference, to my country, Zambia, and push it forward.
I see. So working as, or that experience of working as a mining engineer has helped you a lot in what you do in your activities, in your current activities. Now, it hasn't been long since you became the ambassador to Korea, and I guess this must be a time of overflowing ambition. You must be full of ambition. So what are some of the things you hope to accomplish during your term?
First off, you know, one thing I realized coming to Korea, I did say it was my first time. You know, when I came here, my first few days, I stayed at the hotel. Actually, it's a Grand Hyatt hotel. And some of the ladies there asked me where I was from.
Yes.
Obviously, they must have sensed I was a foreigner. So I told them I'm from Zambia. So the Zambia, Zambia, to use the Korean way of saying it,
Yes.
they didn't seem to be aware of where Zambia was. A few other people I talked to. And moving around as well, I get to realize that the awareness level in Korea regarding Zambia and Africa as a whole is quite low. So one of the things I said to myself the time I'm here is to raise this awareness level, that by the time I'm leaving Korea, or at least by the time my term is over, at least when Zambia is mentioned in Korea, people should say, I know where that is. I'll be very happy if that is done, because that will open the door to a lot of other things which I hope would happen. And this is in terms of investment. Because the Korean investor, the Korean businessman will only invest where he is confident and he knows that this is a place where my investment will be safe.
Right.
So I'm hoping as well that by the time I leave my office, actual investments and exchanges will happen between Zambia and Korea.
Now let's talk about what you do personally in your free time. I'm sure that you have your hobbies, or you may have some new hobbies that you would like to pick up while you're here in Korea. I heard that you had prepared something very special for Heart to Heart.
That's right.
And I know that you brought your guitar with you.
That's right.
So could you maybe, will you be performing for us, playing for us,
Yes.
singing for us?
I'll play two very short, simple songs, one in Zambian. You know, Zambia, there we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, viewers. Let me position myself. Zambia is, I don't know if I mentioned this, it's a Christian nation. In fact, officially it's a Christian nation. And we sing a lot in church. So I'm going to sing one song which is very popular. It actually talks about Noah. I don't know, I'm sure viewers probably, Jennifer, you're familiar with the Noah story.
Yes.
And it talks about people outside the ark crying and pleading to Noah to open the door so that we can go in,
Yes.
which talks about salvation. It's a very popular song. Then I'll sing a short song. There's a short song I learned in Korean. I'll try it as far as I can go, but I think I'd love to do that.
Okay, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yay.
Now for the other one. Arirang, arirang, arario. Arirang gogelo no moganda. Arirang, arirang, arario. Arirang gogelo no moganda. Thank you.
That was the Arirang. Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you.
Yes, to be continued when my Korean improves.
Your Korean's very good.